Narcissists love to talk about themselves in third person, and you're about to find out why. It sounds weird or funny at first, but there's more going on beneath the surface. This habit isn't just quirky, it's a peek into how they see themselves as separate, special, or even above everyone else.
This is about power. If I pay, I am weak. If I show weakness, I begin to lose everything I've spent lifetime building.
Today, we'll break down the 10 strange ways narcissists talk about themselves in third person. Are you ready for number 1? The royal he or she. Have you ever met someone who talks about themselves like they're royalty being interviewed by the History Channel? When a narcissist uses third-person language like he doesn't settle or she demands excellence, it's a performance art. It creates a weird emotional distance, like they're narrating their own myth. Psychologist Dr. Ramani Durvasula calls this a form of identity inflation, a way for narcissists to detach from accountability while puffing up their image. It's like they're starring in a documentary about themselves, directed by themselves, with zero room for critique. By doing this, they set the stage for admiration, while dodging any real vulnerability or flaws. It also shifts the focus entirely away from others, making it all about their personal narrative. In their world, everything revolves around their version of the truth, and they're the unquestioned hero of it. Let's talk about number 2, the martyr monologue. When a narcissist says something like, "John just wants to be loved," they're not just begging for affection, they're setting the stage for a guilt trip. By talking about themselves like a tragic movie character, they get to paint themselves as endlessly selfless and heartbreakingly misunderstood. According to Dr. Lindsay C. Gibson, author of Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents, emotionally immature people often use self-pity to manipulate others into caretaking roles. So, when John sighs about how no one ever appreciates his kindness, what he's doing is asking you to validate him, soothe him, and ignore the toxic strings that come with all that giving. It's a subtle yet effective way to make you feel responsible for their emotional needs. The problem is, their self-pity rarely leads to any real change. It just gets them the attention and control they crave. In the end, you're left feeling drained and questioning your own motives. Let's move on to number 3, the brat or spoiled attitude. I once heard my colleague say, "What Chris wants, Chris gets." That's how some narcissists talk about themselves, with an attitude of entitlement that everything should bend to their will. This behavior stems from growing up in environments where their wants were prioritized over others. It creates the belief that they're above needing to compromise or consider anyone else's feelings. It's like they've never outgrown the "I'm the center of the universe" phase, and as a result, they expect people to serve them without question. Dr. Craig Malkin, a psychologist and author of Rethinking Narcissism, explains that narcissists often develop this inflated sense of entitlement because their emotional needs were either overindulged or ignored. As a result, it leaves them with unrealistic expectations of how the world should cater to them. Now, let's continue to number 4, the passive-aggressive victim role. Have you heard narcissists sound like they're talking about someone else's pain, but it's actually theirs? That's the narcissist slipping into the passive-aggressive victim role using third-person talk. Instead of saying, "I feel hurt," they'll say, "People always expect so much from her," as if they're not her. It's their way of fishing for pity without owning their feelings directly. According to therapist Eleanor Payson, author of The Wizard of Oz and Other Narcissists, this kind of communication lets them appear vulnerable while sidestepping accountability. It also creates confusion because you're not sure whether to comfort them or call out the weird detachment. You shouldn't miss number 5, the idol worship of themselves. Instead of just saying, "I'm good at what I do," they'll say, "When John puts his mind to something, there's no stopping him," as if John isn't standing right there talking about himself. It's weird, but it's on purpose. Narcissists use this trick to create distance while hyping themselves up like some mythical figure. Clinical psychologist Dr. Craig Malkin, author of Rethinking Narcissism, explains that narcissists often engage in emotional airbrushing to paint themselves as flawless and larger than life. By talking this way, they give off this legend in the making vibe, like they're not just a person, but a brand. And let's be honest, when someone starts talking about themselves like they were the chosen one, it's not confidence, it's a red flag wrapped in ego. Ever sat through one of those monologues where you weren't sure if you should clap or just back away slowly? Are you still up for number 6? The FAUX-HUMBLE brag. Narcissists often try to come off as modest while secretly fishing for praise. When Carmen says Carmen doesn't want attention, but somehow Carmen always ends up in the spotlight. What she's doing is making sure she gets all eyes on her, even though she pretends like it's by accident. Psychologist Dr. Craig Malkin, author of Rethinking Narcissism, explains that this is a classic tactic to manipulate others into admiring them without seeming like they're asking for it. It's a clever little mind game. Make a big deal of not wanting attention, while still making sure you're the one everyone's watching. By doing this, narcissists create an illusion of humility, which makes others more likely to give them the praise they're really craving. They've mastered the art of getting what they want without ever having to directly ask for it. It's like fishing for compliments without casting a line. Let's keep it moving to number 7, the emotional outsourcing. When Michael says, Michael doesn't feel anger, Michael feels betrayal. What he's really doing is deflecting all responsibility for his emotions onto others. Instead of owning his anger or frustrations, he's shifting the blame to you, making it about how you made him feel, rather than acknowledging his own role in the situation. Dr. Wendy Behari, a clinical psychologist and expert on narcissistic personality disorder, calls this emotional outsourcing because it allows the narcissist to avoid taking ownership of their feelings, and instead, they offload them onto others. It's like playing a game where the narcissist always gets to be the victim, and you're stuck holding the emotional baggage. Here comes number 8, the delusional life coach vibe. Have you ever met someone who sounds like a walking TED Talk about themselves? When a narcissist starts talking in third person, like they're some enlightened guru mentoring the world. But the world is actually just you, trying not to cringe. They'll say things like, "When Jessica faces adversity, Jessica rises," turning everyday struggles into motivational monologues as if they're starring in a self-help documentary no one asked for. It's not inspiration. It's self-worship disguised as wisdom. Dr. Ramani Durvasula, in her book, Don't You Know Who I Am, says that narcissists often craft a false self that's built to impress, not connect. And this third-person life coach shtick is the performance. They're not trying to help you grow. They're trying to prove they've already arrived. Meanwhile, you're sitting there wondering when the seminar ends and the real person shows up. Finally, we're down to number 9, the defensive declaration. Kevin wasn't the bad guy here. He was just being honest. That's the defensive declaration at work. A classic narcissist move to dodge blame by wrapping cruelty in so-called truth. When you hear that line, what you're dealing with is someone who's gaslighting you, spinning their hurtful words as objective fact so they don't have to own the fallout. As Dr. Harriet Breaker, author of Who's Pulling Your Strings, warns, defensive declarations are manipulative shields used to deflect responsibility and keep you off balance. In the documentary Surviving Narcissus, experts point out that framing mean behavior as tough love or honesty is a way to maintain control without ever admitting wrongdoing. So next time Kevin pulls out that line, remember, genuine honesty doesn't come with a side of emotional sabotage. Next time you hear a narcissist talking about themselves in third person, you'll know their hidden agenda. It's a tactic for them to inflate their importance and control the conversation. This behavior also helps them avoid emotional vulnerability and distance themselves from others. While it may sound strange, it's a clear sign of how they see themselves as above everyone else. Recognizing this can help you spot narcissism and protect your boundaries.